We've got the Triceratops with the two brow horns, and it's going into the mountain this way, and that looks to me like it is the nose horn. It could be a collapsed frill.
Yes, I think this is dead. I think.
Sure looks like it. It's thick enough. Yeah, that's not fractured edge. So we think we found possibly portions of deformed frill coming down. So we're trying to see how much of the Triceratops is here. Hey, this is Dr. Bob, and I'm here again. This time we're in Glendive, Montana, and we are at the Baisch's Museum, and I'm here with Shanna Baisch. And we are in front of this wonderful Triceratops, which exhibits some unique characteristics that help us to recognize the evidence of the flood. So can you tell us about this Triceratops, how it was discovered, and the different sediment layers that it represents?
Yeah, this skull was found by my friend Shane. It was found in a sinkhole, but it was tilted. It was tilted up, so the frill was uphill from the horns and the nose. These are the brow horn stubs here. We have some of the brow horns, the tip of one, but a lot of it's missing. So when it was tipped up like that, there was when we went to excavating it, there was I don't know, 4 or 5 different layers as it went down. There was a gumbo layer. There was this sandstone and mudstone combination, went through it. This line in here this is plant matter impressions that's running across his face here. There was a petrified fig in this little hole here. And then we got down underneath that. There was a sand layer, and then a microsite, with other little tiny fossils in it that was underneath that. And when it was tipped up, it was about, I don't know, 4.5, 5 foot probably at least, that was all layered with different layers. So that all had to happen within a relatively short time, within at least a few years. Otherwise whatever bone was exposed of that skull would have been rotting. And as you can tell from this end was down over here, so as you can tell, this damage to the frill right here happened after, as it was being exposed.
As it starts to weather out.
Right, yeah, this was what was exposed first. And as you can tell, this is the frill edge, and that is, did not rot before being fossilized. So everything had to be covered up.
Yeah, and so just like when we know that there were millions of bison living on the plains and everything, and we see the pictures of all their skeletons and everything, but you go out there and you don't find them because the weather just completely breaks down all that and goes back to the calcium, goes back to the dust that it was created from. And so the same kind of thing would happen here. As these are exposed, the weather deteriorates them and they go back to the dust.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're seeing then are a variety of different sediment packages that are laid down as this animal was being buried, and before it could be before it could decompose, before it could be scavenged or decomposed. And so good indication then that these sediment layers, as you said, are not separated by great periods of time, but are likely part of the same event. So even in the paleontological or geological evidence that we see here is again evidence for this worldwide catastrophe that was the flood happening in a short period of time. And its destructive force was able to kill all these great animals, but then bury them rapidly under varying packages of sediments, which have their own unique characteristics.
Right.
And then protect it so that then we're able to discover and find this evidence. And then had to have subsequent packages on top of that to provide the pressure and the protection for the specimen from the event until now that we see.
Right.
So, yeah, because it isn't simply a matter they just got to get covered.
Right.
They have to be covered and then put under pressure to protect them and to allow the permineralization to happen. We see in these fossils. So this was discovered right here in Glendive, right?
Yeah. It was discovered out on a ranch about 15 miles out south of here. We saw Shane found it first and found the horn cores here. This is stuff that broke off later. It was in a wash. So we were, when they started breaking up, they went down. We couldn't, we've got we have one of the tips, about this much of the tip of one of these horns. And actually some of the nose and the beak, not all of it here. This isn't a nose. This is all bracing underneath the plaster jacket. Here, this one was clear up on top of a really bad steep hill, and then down in a hole. So we had to really super support it, and we had to pull pipes up, and we bolted them together underneath it to make a framework to pull it out on.
Sure.
Because it was in just a crazy spot.
Yep. So this, like the one that we found yesterday up there, where it has brow horns coming out as well. So
Right.
basically what you're seeing then is starting to come out, this portion of it, right, then going down into the part of the skull where
Right.
where the horns attach. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, on the one yesterday, the one that we found yesterday, yes, we've got just like this much of it is what we've got.
That
Look
we
at
know
that
is there.
picture. Yeah, that we know is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of it's still covered, so it could, we
Could
could
be
have all
more,
of this
yes,
yet.
yeah.
Too, we don't think. Yeah, we think we've only got back a ways to the frill, but actually, it's looking at this one, I can see how much it's dipping down.
Exactly, yeah.
Too,
Because that's
so
what I've
there
been
could
looking
be-
at. I thought about the frill, but it would depend on the angle that one's at.
Right.
How much of the frill could still be there. Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is great because again, we see these multiple layers and the polystratic nature of the fossil formation within those layers. It demonstrates to us that again, science supports the account of the Bible, and that really you aren't anti-science if you believe the Bible, and then it's okay to believe. It's okay to believe.
It's okay to believe.
Yeah. So again, this Dr. Bob here with Shanna Baisch here in Glendive, Montana, getting to look at these wonderful animals that were part of God's creation that were destroyed in the judgment that was the flood. And again, Noah and his family were those that were saved because they were willing to follow the commandments of the Lord and keep the promises and the covenants that they made with him, and he protected them through the flood. And so they're a great demonstration to us that as the trials and tribulations of the world come and the storms come, that we can turn to the ark in our day, Jesus Christ, and know that we can be saved as well. So here we are, another one of God's great creations, demonstrating to us that it's okay to believe.